Basically, it's sort of a retrospective of the work that Artemio and Sylvia did at the Mano Press, and it shows the influence that they had as supporters of the graphic arts. It also shows the influence that they've had over a lot of artists in Los Angeles and the area. All of the artists that are involved in the show worked at one moment with them at La Mano Press or La Mano Gráfica in Mexico. And so I think it just really represents the love for printmaking that Artemio and Sylvia have, and how they've shared that passion with other people. So La Mano Press no longer really exists. It was an artist studio workshop that was founded in 2002. Originally, Artemio had worked out of self-help graphics, and eventually he established his own art studio on North Main Street in downtown LA, more towards downtown than self-help graphics was. And he had a number of artists sort of join him there. And they organized exhibitions and workshops, they published books, they created community events, they had sort of Day of the Dead festivities, print sales, and things like that. And eventually what they did is that they decided to relocate to Michoacan, which is where Artemio is from. And so they built a studio out in Michoacan, and when they did that, they pretty much closed down La Mano Press and established La Mano Gráfica. So now they kind of move back and forth. But at around the time between 2002 and 2006, I would say, is a time when La Mano Press was the most busy. They were launching books. They launched a skateboard deck company out of there. They were just really influential within the Chicano art scene and within the graphic art scene and the street art scene in LA. In our culture and society, we value things that are one of a kind more than things that are multiples. Another reason, the main reason for that being that if something is one of a kind, only one person can own it, so people feel that it has more value. So it's a commodification of art. That's what it really is. And so because you can make multiples of an art object or print, people feel that it loses its monetary value, basically, or maybe some people feel like it loses its emotional value. But I think with printmakers especially, they feel that that adds some sort of cultural value to their work, because it can't just be owned by one person, but it can be given to many different people, and so it spreads out more within society. And so I think printmakers see that as more valuable than just creating one thing. I think the important thing to remember when looking at prints is that they are handmade works of art. I mean, the prints in this exhibition were not made by machines, they were made by artists. And so whether the artist was carving a piece of wood or linoleum, with a gouge, or pulling a screen by hand, these are handmade objects by artists. So I don't really feel that it should be devalued, but I think it's just a matter of opinion between different people. I think that the reason that I mix together really traditional types of printmaking, like the wood cuts and the etchings and the lino cuts, with things like screen prints and installation works and video, is because I really want people to see how how flexible printmaking is. A lot of people think that because it's such an old tradition that it can only be one thing, and that's either like a work on paper that has to be distributed that way, or it has to be very traditional in style. But really, printmaking has adapted a lot to different processes. I mean, screen printing, I guess, is one of the newest processes in printmaking. And so I really want people to understand that printmaking artists belong to a really long tradition of artisans, but at the same time, they're very innovative and always changing the medium to fit into what they would like to say to other people.